Good evening, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Araceli Ramos, and I'm Public Relations Director for Casa Cuervo in Tequila, Mexico. And I have the honor and the privilege of working for this company for 20 years. So today I want to present to you and to bring to you what tequila is all about. And, who's been in Mexico before? Okay, who knows where tequila comes from? That is what I like. Because today, I want to take you through the trip of this beautiful beverage, this beautiful spirit. And most of the time, because we have created the image and now the use of tequila that is taken in a shot, and you drink one shot and another shot. And even though tequila is fun, and that is part of what this is all about, but tequila deserves to be sipped, to be drunk little by little, sip by sip. And I will tell you why. Tequila is a beautiful beverage that, when you see a tequila, behind one shot of tequila, there is a lot of work of Mexican hands. There's a lot of patience, and there's a lot of passion. So it deserves that dignity and that honor. And I will tell you, we will begin. What is tequila? Tequila is a unique and complex spirit produced in central Mexico from the fermented and distilled sap of the blue agave. And I will tell you, and we will see what blue agave is. The plant, when you look at it, it's like an aloe vera. It looks so tough and so rough, like nothing, can come out of this plant. But it's a very noble plant. Tequila is North America's first distilled drink and its first commercially produced alcohol. The name tequila was adopted from the region in which tequila originated more than 400 years ago, before the product was known as mezcal or wine of mezcal. Even the local people in the town of Tequila still call the plant, not the beverage, but the plant, mezcal. The word means, depending on the authority, the place of harvesting plants, the place of wild herbs, lava hill, place where they cut, or even the place of work. And that is the word tequila. Tequila has a denomination of origin, just like cognac, like champagne, like sherry. To be called tequila has to come from these states of Mexico. It's the whole state of Jalisco and some municipalities of Guanajuato, Nayarit, Michoacán, and Tamaulipas. If the blue agave grows and they have the same process and it's made in Sinaloa or in another state, it cannot be called tequila. It can be called distilled of agave beverage, but never tequila. There was a workshop before that was mezcal. Mezcal also has now a denomination of origin, and it comes from the south of Mexico, especially from the town, from the state of Oaxaca. It's also a beautiful beverage. They are like cousins. But tequila is the one that began with all this. The agave fields. This is an agave plant. And when you look at it, as I was saying, it looks so tough and so rough, like nothing can come out of it. But there are about 80 different kinds of agave just in the region where tequila comes from. But the only kind of agave that can be used to make tequila is the blue agave, agave azul, Tequilana Weber. And this is, in the country, we have about 125 different species of agave. This plant, since we plant it takes between 7, 8, 10 years to grow, to mature before we can harvest it to make tequila. It's very interesting because one of the things that also I want to mention is that once we plant the agave, while it grows and it matures, we harvest it, and once we harvest it, the plant dies. There is no another chance for that plant. It dies, and we just get the heart of the agave to make tequila. There is a tequila classification. There is what we call tequila and what we call tequila 100% agave. And when people, ask, what is the best tequila? It's very interesting to talk about this because When one bottle says tequila, not 100% agave, people might think that is not good tequila. It is good, but it depends how you're going to drink it or how you're going to serve it. If you're going to prepare a margarita, there is no need to have 100% agave because you are going to add anyway sugars or syrup or fruit or another flavor. So you don't need to put, it's like whiskey. What is better, a single malt or a blend or a single barrel? It depends how you're going to drink it. It is the same with tequila. But if you're going to drink it neat or straight, then the best, of course, is a 100% agave. And that means that when it says 100% agave, like this tequila, it should always have that 100% agave, means that all the sugars in this tequila come from the agave plant. When it just says tequila, the Mexican government allows 49% of the sugars coming from another plant, sugar cane, molasses, and 51% minimum have to come from blue agave. Then we have 5 different types of tequila. The first one is blanco, silver, which is white tequila. Just as it comes out of distillation, it's ready to be bottled, and we can drink it. Then we have joven or gold, and this is a blend of white tequila with rested or aged tequilas, and that is what we call tequila joven. Reposado, it takes a minimum of 2 months in contact with wood and a maximum of 1 year, 1 day before 1 year. But that is, and it has to be resting in white oak, American or French oak. Then we have añejo, which is aged, and as its name says, it has to be a minimum of 1 year in contact with wood. And the last one is the extra aged, and that means that it has been a minimum of 3 years in contact with wood. The color, that is why when we see a tequila and we see one that is clear or crystalline and then one darker, it is not that we add anything, it's the time that it has been in contact with wood. The process. Just from the beginning, since we plant an agave, as I said, it takes 7, 8, 9 years to grow, to mature. And then we begin with the process in the distillery. It's the cooking and extracting the natural sugars, fermentation, distillation, maturation, and then the blending or finishing. Very fast, because I know that we are going through, but the harvesting is just in the fields. Since we plant the agave as it grows, we take away the leaves or the pencas that are around the agave, and we just keep the heart of the agave. That is, it looks like a pineapple. This is the heart of the agave, the round, and we take it to the distillery, and that is what goes into the ovens. Then these pineapples or piñas, the heart of the agave, cooks in the ovens for about 48 hours. And it depends. Some distilleries, some brands use very modern ovens. Some of us still use the very old way of cooking in stone ovens. But that is the way that we do it. And then after the cooking is fermentation. With all the sugars, we crush the agave after the cooking. And actually, I brought from Tequila, Mexico, some of the cooked agave, so you can really taste it and feel it. But after we have it cooked, we crush it, we extract the juices from the agave, and then it will go through the process of fermentation, where all the sugars become alcohol. In the old times, this juice from the agave was called aguamiel, like honey water. And after fermentation, that is what we knew before the Spanish came and taught us the process of distillation, and that is when we began to make tequila. Before that, we used to have what we called vino mezcal, and it was like a wine of the plant because it had the same degrees of alcohol as a wine, 12 to 14 degrees of alcohol. And then there's distillation, and this is what makes tequila what it is. And distillation is the secret for a good tequila. If the distillation is clean and it's perfectly done, we have a great tequila. That is the secret of a good tequila. When we put the fermented juice, the liquid, into the distillation tanks. It goes through the process. And at the end, we get a liquid that comes in 3 different steps, what we call heads, the heart of tequila, the heart of distillation, which is tequila, and then the tails. We separate the heads and the tails, and we just keep the heart of the agave, of the fermentation, of the distillation, and that is tequila, the cleanest, the better product that we have. Actually, you know, one of the things that people say is, you know, that is what, when you get a hangover, is because distillation wasn't as good as it should have been. Well, it depends how much you drank, of course. In maturation of blending, that is the aging process. And then when we must make blends, because now a lot of the tequilas that we make are blends of rested, aged, and now we make blends to make a better flavor of our tequilas. But this is about tequila, and it was something very brief because I just wanted to take you through what tequila is all about in a few minutes. But now we're going to go to the tasting, which is the most fun part of this workshop today. So we're going to pass you now some white tequila, and we will begin with a tasting. And tequila tasting is very similar to a wine tasting. And you know, some of the people say, how do you do that with tequila? Well, it's very easy, because with tequila, it's the same. It's the aroma, it's the color, it's the body, and we have to find out in tequila. And I think once you go through that, you know, besides learning where tequila comes from and everything that is behind a shot of tequila, your appreciation to tequila will be very different. For sure, tequila has the characteristic that makes people happy. You know, I always say that I don't work for a company that sells tequila. I work for a company that sells happiness, because that is what tequila is all about. But of course, we will see now what it is in this tasting. Este es blanco, ¿verdad, Reina? Gracias. ¿Y qué hago ahorita con, sabes qué, mi reina? Sería muy bueno empezar a pasar los platitos. Claro. Gracias, nena. The plates, yeah. You know, because we need. Gracias. Bueno, si quieres, espérame, voy a empezar para que no te. Okay, now everybody, you all have. Well, the first thing, and of course, this is a white tequila, and we are today going to try one of the families that is 1800, which is a very fine tequila. And the first thing that I want you to see, this is white tequila. White tequila shouldn't have a color. Sometimes we put the white tequila that makes it silver in the wooden barrels for 28 days, and that is what we call a moon. It's the moon calendar, 28 days. And then it has a slightly silver color. It's not so clear as the white, but it's with a little bit of a color. The best way to see the color in a tequila would be with a white paper or a white tablecloth on the back. If you can turn around your mat and look at the color against the light, that would be wonderful, so you can really see the color. And you can see that it's white, and on the sides, it forms a silver side on the edges of the glass. And then, but tequila, white tequila should always be very crystalline. And then to see the body of a tequila, we are going to swirl it around the glass. And you can just do it like this. You don't have to, you know, really shake it, but it's just swirl it and then put it straight. And you will see that it will form a color around, that it will begin to come down, all the drops that will come down. And you will see that it forms very thin, and some of them thicker tears or legs that come down from the glass. And this means that this tequila has had a very good distillation and fermentation. The oils that come from the distillation and the fermentation will create this necking here that will come down. And the slower they come, the better body that it has. And you will see the thinner drops are called tears. The thicker ones are called legs. But now, we are going to go through the nose. And in a tasting, we go through all the senses. See, the first one was the eye, to see the color. Now we're going to use the nose, which is the most important part of all the senses for a tasting. People might think that is the mouth, but it's not. The most important is the nose. If something smells good, tastes good. If something doesn't smell good, it's not good. So tequila, we are going to nose it in 3 different steps. The first aromas come on the bottom part of the glass, the secondary aromas in the middle part of the glass, and the third aromas come in the top part. The first aromas come from the fields, and we will see that it's very fresh, that is in a way that is very, very cool, like the fields. And let's do the first smell on the bottom, please. If you want, open a little bit your mouth, please, because sometimes when you have your mouth closed, the alcohol goes straight to your brain. So if you open a little bit your mouth so you don't cough, just open a little bit your mouth and smell on the bottom part, please. It should be clean and fresh. Please take the cooked agave, which you have in your plate, and just smell it, please. Just smell it. That is cooked agave. And I'll go back to the first aromas so you can find the sweet in the tequila. Of course, there is always the alcohol that comes. That should always be in the tequila. But you will find now, after you smell the sweet in the cooked agave, that it's easier to find the aroma of the fresh and the sweet in the tequila. We're going to go to the secondary aromas, which are in the middle part, and that is from the process in the distillery. The first is the fields. The second aromas are from the distillery. So let's smell in the middle of the glass. This is more flowery. It's not as fresh as the beginning. This is more flower. But still, take the lime, please, and just crush it a little bit and smell. Okay? Now go back to the secondary aromas. And you will feel that the aromas are easier to find. You can find more like tea, like flowers. There is one aroma that is very, and at the end we will do this because I brought raw agave from tequila, but at the end we will do this with the mouth because this is, people will think this is the piña, just raw from the fields, and then the cooked agave, but we will do it at the end after we try the tequila. So now we will go to the third aromas, and the third aromas are on the top of the glass, but those are the aromas that come from the blending, from the oak. White tequila doesn't have oak, so it couldn't really, we will not feel very much the aroma on the top, but let's smell it anyway. And there's almost no smell because it's white tequila. It doesn't have contact with wood. Well, let's go to the most fun part. And before we taste it, I'm going to ask you to put a little bit of the tequila in your mouth and let it go around your mouth. Don't appreciate the flavor or anything. Just let it go in your mouth, around your mouth, your tongue, for 4 seconds, and then swallow it. And don't judge the tequila right now, because we usually punish the beverage from the first sip. If we haven't been drinking alcohol at this moment, when we have the first sip, it's going to taste really strong, and we're going to say, oh my God, this is so strong. Let it just go in your mouth, swallow it, and then we will have the first sip really with the appreciation of tequila. So just take a little sip and let it go in your mouth and swallow it. This is very interesting. In our tongue is where we feel all the flavors. in the tip of the tongue is what is sweet. On the sides is what is sour, or what is, that is the sour. On the top of the tongue, we feel all the salty. And in the back of the tongue, we feel what is bitter. So in here, we must feel now like spices, like it's jumping on our mouth, like it's peppery, like it's, that is the way that it feels. But now we have it. Now we will take, and this is very interesting, to find all the flavors and the aromas in the tequila, we are going to breathe with our nose. We're going to take a sip and swallow it, and then we will exhale with the nose and the mouth. Can we do it? Okay, let's. And now the end of mouth should be a lot cleaner, easier, and you can really appreciate tequila. It should leave tequila an end of mouth. Now you don't feel on your tongue, the same. Now it's very smooth. It's very easy. You can really feel after that, the last part of the, what is the end of mouth. That is very easy. And this is a white tequila. Tequila, and as I was saying, you should drink it little by little, sip it, that is the way that it is. In a tasting, we have it room temperature, but, when you are, having a tequila in the evening or in a night out, or you want a tequila, people ask me, when is the best time for tequila? And I say, all the time, because you can have it any time of the day. But this is, you can have it in the refrigerator or in the freezer, and it's absolutely beautiful when it's cold. So let's take now, please. Oh, can we pass the reposado? And meanwhile, I'm going to ask you to have just a little bit of the cracker, so we can, or water, as you wish, so we can just change the flavor in our mouth, please. Gracias, mi capitán. Okay, now tequila reposado, it's a rested tequila. That means that it has been in contact with wood a minimum of 2 months, maximum 1 day before 1 year. And now we will see the color, and if you can put your white mat on the back, also you will see, it goes from a light straw color to a dark straw color, but you can see that it is very gold. It is very crisp, and it's very, it's just a very beautiful color of the reposado. And if we go and swirl the tequila around the glass, we will see again the tears and the legs that begin to form and cling down of the glass. This actually, can you feel that it's even slower than the other one? You can really see that the legs and the tears come very, very slow down. This means that this tequila has a very, very good body. And I say that it has even more body than the white one because this has been in contact with wood. And the wood has some oils that add body to a tequila. And now, let's go to the aromas. This is faster because now we know how to do it. But the first aromas, let's go to the bottom of the... And of course, the first thing, what is the first thing that you find? That you smell? What is the first one? Cinnamon. Oak. Caramel. And definitely alcohol. Please take again the cooked agave. And if it's not, just to put it like, this is so sweet. And smell again in the middle part, please. You will find how sweet tequila is. And sometimes we don't appreciate and we don't know how sweet tequila is until we really go through step by one step at a time. Now, let's go to the third aromas. And in here, we can find an aroma on the third aromas. We can already feel very, very smooth, but we can feel the aroma of wood. Please take the cinnamon and smell the cinnamon. Break it if necessary, so you can really. That is one of the most beautiful aromas in the world. What does it remind you? Christmas. That's right. Good moments, good memories. Okay, let's go to the third aromas again, please. And you can feel it a little bit stronger. Now let's try. And now I can begin to say, salud. Can you feel the difference between this and the first tequila that we had? And see, when people say, which tequila is better? It's the one that you like. This one, you know, it's more, it's woody, but it's not strong wood. But it's not, a lot of people say that they like white tequila because that is the one that tastes like real tequila, because it hasn't been in contact with any other thing than tequila. But this one, to me, it's absolutely easy. It's very smooth. It's very, I love reposados. But that is me.
How long has been aged? Or how long has been aged?
This one is between 6 and 8 months in contact with wood. And you can really feel it, but it's very, very, very smooth. I think we're ready for the next tequila, please. Thank you. Ay, perdón, mi reina. Déjame mover. ¿Vamos bien? Gracias. Con estos es suficientes. ¿Mande? No, mejor no la llevamos. Ya ves lo que me hace decir. Y uno para mí. Okay, now let's go to the last of the tequilas that we have today in here, and this is an aged tequila. I moved this around. It's fine. Okay, let's go to the third tequila. And this is an aged tequila. That means that it has been in contact with wood a minimum of 1 year. and maximum of 1 day before 3 years. So this has a lot more contact with wood than any of the others that we have tried. So let's first check. The color of an añejo or aged tequila should be always from a, light copper to a reddish copper. And you can see this is a beautiful color because it's reddish and it's very deep. But it's still always crystalline and clear and sharp, like white and like reposados. But this one is a beautiful amber color, reddish amber, that is very beautiful. So, and what about the body? Let's see the body of this tequila, and we will see again that the body is beautiful. The tears and the legs become to swirl down the glass, to come down the glass very slowly. It's a great body that it has. And let's go to the aromas. First aromas on the bottom part. Wow, the wood is absolutely present in this, right? What else can you feel? Because this is so easy to find more aromas. You were good about the first one. Which aroma can you feel in this one?
Chocolate.
Chocolate?
Chocolate.
Coffee. That's absolutely right. You found very good aroma in the last one. Yes, you. Vanilla. That's a great one. Vanilla.
Then you get some hints of nutmeg.
Yes. Spices and fruits. Dry fruits, like prunes.
Walnuts, honey.
Yes. This is so easy for aromas. Let's go to the secondary aromas because you will feel even more the nuts in the second aromas. Hazelnut. What? Orange? That is a very good one because orange is usually in all the tequilas and very few people can find the orange. Very citrusy. That is the orange where you find it. This is so beautiful. And let's go to the third aromas, please. And this is French white oak that we use for this to age. And you can really feel that it's very sweet.
You also use French for the reposado?
Yes.
Only French for the
Yes. No, we use American oak for the reposado and French oak for the añejo. Okay, now let's sip it, please. Very different from the others, right? If you like woody flavors, then this is a very good tequila for that. This is something, usually when people say, do you drink tequila just, like that, or do you blend it or mix it with food? And, usually a white tequila is great with the fresh, like with a ceviche, with fresh fish, with raw fish. It's very nice with vegetables, with a salad. Reposado or rested is very good with a pasta, with something that is spicy but still very mild. But this one, like aged, is great with a dessert, with chocolate, with a strong cheese, with an aged cheese. This is absolutely beautiful with fruits, dry fruits in this is absolutely beautiful. So in order for me to finish, because I know we have the time right now on top of us, there are just two things that I want you to mention. Maybe, you were looking a while ago to this, and the maestros tequileros is just like, there is now people saying that you are a tequilier, but the word tequilier doesn't exist. It means if you are an expert in tequila, you become, when you have the knowledge, you become a maestro tequilero or maestra tequilera. And this is what we use instead of a testaban, like the sommeliers. In the tequila industry, this is the horn of a bull in silver, and this is what gives you the name of a maestro tequilero, and this is what we use. And another thing that I want you, just before, please, the pleasure, you can just take a little thing of this, bite it, and you will see this is the raw agave. It doesn't have a flavor, doesn't have it's like a jicama, very similar. The only thing that is more fibers than jicama. But this is what it tastes just when it comes out of the earth. But then, please, try the other one, the cooked agave, and just like if it was sugar cane, just crunch it, take a little bit of the juice, like this, so you can see how sweet it is. That is the blue. What does it taste like? It is like pumpkin, like a sweet potato. It's very much like a sweet potato. But that is the cooked agave. That is where tequila comes from. So now let's go back to the last sip of the aged tequila after you tried that. And thank you very much for sharing with us this moment. And more than anything, what I would like to say is that, next time when you drink a tequila, think that behind a shot of tequila, there are so many years of work and patience and passion of Mexican hands. Because just for a white tequila that looks so simple, it's more than 10 or 12 years of work. For an aged tequila or an extra aged tequila, maybe it's 20 years of work of Mexican hands. It deserves dignity and pride, and this is what tequila is all about. So, to all of you, thank you. Salud. Salud. Y gracias, Gaby. Gaby is our representative of Casa Cuervo in the UK. Gracias, Gaby. This is very good. After we tried the sweet agave, thank you so much. Gracias, corazón. Listos.